I'm Sarah Weiler from Contemporary Education, an educational services company committed to transforming education to meet the challenges of the 21st century. In this video today, I want to talk about play-based project design. I want to first introduce a general foundation for play-based projects, utilizing the Contemporary Education framework. So a play-based project design starts from a theme. Now, this is not so different than what you might find in a preschool classroom, a thematic exploration or inquiry-based project. What I propose is a play-based project design starting from a theme, the theme departing from some specific themes related to human development. So things that align all human beings across cultures, such as needs that need to be met, from the need for food, the need for having relationships, family and friendships, the need for culture, the need for shelter, the need for health care. So all of these basic, you could think of them in terms of basic rights, basic needs that are common to all human beings, that can be a departure point for a play-based project design. So within the Contemporary Education framework, if you look at the graphic on your screen, you'll see in the middle there is this human development theme. And that human development theme is what generates a need. So from this need, the way we meet that need is through real life situations. So if it's the need for food, we need to either plant food and farm and cultivate the food ourselves, or we need to have some kind of exchange with others, such as with money and going to the grocery store and buying the food. It could also be many different activities. So it could be, like I said, farming, gardening, going to a street market, going to a grocery store, a supermarket. It could also be preparing the food and what it means to make a meal, and that process. That's also something that's going to satiate our need for food to nurture our bodies physically. And those real life activities are often the content of a play-based project, because the imaginary pretend play situations often emulate real life situations. So we play grocery store, we play going to the doctor, we play going to the theater. So these are real life activities that children often emulate in play. But one thing that's markedly different from a typical investigation in a preschool classroom related to a theme is this one, focusing on a real life situation, but not giving this real life situation as a model to follow. Like, this is the right way to act and to think and to be within this situation. So the next aspect of the Contemporary Education framework is an awareness of practices, to see that the way that we go to the grocery store nowadays is different than the way we went to the grocery store 100 years ago. The way that we go to the grocery store in a small town USA is different than the way we go to the grocery store in, let's say, one of the biggest cities in the world. So that we can see that the way that human beings engage in real life activities varies over time throughout history and continues to innovate into the future, and also varies throughout cultures. And why do we study this awareness of practices? Because this is what has the potential to amplify children's agency in making decisions, not just taking for granted, well, this is the way that everybody does something, this is the way that everybody thinks about something, this is the way everybody is in terms of where I live and who I see around me, and so I need to be like that. When we have this awareness of practices, it opens up the possibility for children to think more critically and reflectively about their choices and situate their choices amongst other possibilities so that they can make more informed, intentional, and meaningful decisions in their lives. And this can start in the play situation where they can even experiment with different decisions and different choices and see in a very low stakes environment of play how that is. And in a play-based project design where educators are children's play partners, so they can be questioning their decisions, how they're understanding things, their grasp on concepts, and how they're applying those concepts and actions within the narrative that's being developed, the story that's being developed in the play scenario. Another thing that's different with this play-based project approach is that it's not just letting the children play in the dramatic play area or, setting up a station in the classroom for dramatic play, but it's really making the imaginary pretend play the anchor of interdisciplinary teaching and learning, so that children are learning different skills, getting in contact with different domains of knowledge through the play-based imaginary situation. So once again, thinking of the framework, take a look at that icon, start from a human development theme that generates the need, meeting that need by choosing a real-life situation that can be emulated in a imaginary pretend play situation, looking at an awareness of practices, so that can come through reading stories, interviewing people, bringing in experts to know what are the different practices associated with that real-life activity. And then the next aspect would be this theoretical inquiry. So what are the beliefs, the concepts, the knowledge that sustain those different practices, so that they can start building more scientific knowledge and understanding about classifying and systematizing and formalizing ideas that they can use as tools in making their decisions. And then finally, the last aspect that comes back in a cycle is this deliberation of theory and practice. So thinking about, what do my actions mean? Making an intentional, informed, and meaningful decision in play, but then how that also is something that it's building up this repertoire of resources and conceptual resources, skills, and knowledge to then be utilized in real life situations.